What's good, world? It's the Great 32T coming to you live with Khadija here at the Breakthrough Conference show. This is an honor to have you today. Could you please tell the fans and everyone watching, what do you do for a living, your location, and also like your business?
Okay, so my name is Khadija Romney, and I am the owner of Planning a Better You. I am located in Central Florida, between Orlando and Tampa. So I'm, between. I'm also, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. That happens a lot.
That's fine.
Listen,
That's fine.
being a mom and an entrepreneur, look, things be running through my mind. But listen, I am so the company Planning a Better You is designed to help you become a better self, mind, business, and spirit. And we do that through our literary material, our workshops, our yearly retreats, our quarterly retreats. And I'm just here to help folks become better.
That's awesome. And also, too, for everyone watching, could you please tell them the social media that they can find you, Instagram, Facebook, website?
Yeah, so my Instagram is Planning a Better You. My website is planningabetteryou.com. And Facebook, you can just go to Planning a Better You.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So for the Breakthrough Conference show, it's a two-part question. So the first part of the question is, I understood like within this pandemic, right? There were people that were
Okay.
succeeding in their business, people that were, still scaling, even though, we're in this world global crisis. And then there was also people, that were struggling in their business, trying to get things off the ground, people actually going out of business. So my goal was to really connect people together. And I always give this illustration of a chain, right? And a chain, in order to break one link, in order to break a chain, you have to first remove one link. So when I think of that link, it's like that one piece of information that somebody else out there can grab a hold of and receive to really get them to the next level. So the question I have to ask for you today, so what is your breakthrough experience that contributed to your success within your business to help you get to where you are today?
Okay. This is okay. So to single out just one, that's very, very difficult, right? Because
Okay.
the journey to success is a number of events that happen that lead you up to that, right? But if I can think of one, it was probably the shifting of my mindset, right?
Hmm.
When I began to really think about, so let me give you a little backstory, right? So I used to live in Miami, and I used to be the ultimate hustler. I did everything. I did nails, I sold hair, I made clothes, I did mink lashes 10 years ago before it was a thing, right? I was doing everything because I was chasing money. So when I began to chase my purpose, right, is when my business shifted. And when I began to connect and make my business a purpose-driven business,
Hmm.
the success just came because now I'm not focused on the money, right? I'm not, and I'm not saying I've reached the plateau of my business and I'm where I want to be, right? Where it's always room for growth, but it's definitely that point was when I recognized my purpose, and I found that in God. He's the only one that can reveal that to us, right? So we have to dig into Him and dig into a relationship with Him in order to discover our purpose, right? But so I was a teacher. I taught for 7 years, and I taught in Miami, I taught in New York, and I taught in Central Florida. In the transition from between New York and Central Florida, I moved there to help my fiance. He was going through, my ex-fiance, he was going through a lot of things, and I went there to help him out. So I'm like, I'm gonna marry dude. I gotta be there for him, right? Well, wrong, because I wasn't his wife yet, so I shouldn't have made that move, but I did anyway. And then, things happened, things transpired, and I lost my sense of identity. I lost, who I was. I remember looking in the mirror one day, and I'm like, man, who are you?
Wow.
Who are you? The core of you, like I don't even recognize you anymore. And I remember praying, like, God, give me a way of escape, and He had gave me tons of escapes, right? And I never took
Mm.
them, but I ended up getting pregnant. And
Mhm.
I'm like, whoa, that was an eye opener for me. I'm like, man, I can't raise this kid as
Mm,
this person, as this individual that I am, like who
mm-hmm,
I am at this moment. He can't see this version of me. This version of me sucks,
mm,
right? So I was praying. I'm like, God, give me a way of escape. Give me another way of escape. I need to get out of this relationship. Like it is, I'm not thriving here. I'm not my best self here. And I can't raise a son not being my best self when I have met her. I've met a
mm,
version of her, right? And that version has diminished. And God, made a way of escape. I ended up getting a $14 one-way plane ticket with Delta Airlines to leave New
wow.
York to come to Central Florida. Now, that was God. $14. That is unheard of. Listen here, that was God. You can't tell me God was saying, baby, here you go, get out of there, right?
Amen.
I moved to Central Florida because my mom stays here. She lives here. So I needed her because I needed to regain my strength. I needed to regain a sense of my identity. And I went, started teaching 4 months pregnant. I got hired in Central Florida as a teacher. I had taught 6th grade math, pregnant, sixth
Mm,
graders. So that was hard. But during that whole process of my second year teaching here in Central Florida, in 2018, God had started to birth my purpose. I
mm,
already had a sense of what, I was called for and what I was called to do, and I had a sense of my purpose. So, but God had started to birth it in 2018, in my second year of teaching here in Central Florida, and
mm.
my second school year of teaching, and it started with my planner. And
Wow.
I designed the planner because I was like, man, I want people to see how I plan my life to accomplish the things that I accomplish, right? When I
Mm,
moved back to Florida, I'm like, you know what? I used to always tell my sister, I'm like, before my baby is 1 year old, I'm going to be a homeowner. Before he's 1, I'm going to be a homeowner. Before he's 1, I'm going to be I was a homeowner when my baby was 6 months old.
speaking into existence.
I did that. I moved here. I'm living with my mama. You know how that goes, going back home pregnant, and not just speaking it, right? That's just one part of it. It's a whole nother planning process. A lot of people like to pray and they don't like to put action behind it. They like to speak affirmations, but they don't like to put work behind it. But this thing, let me tell you, it requires work. It requires planning. It requires you to think strategically how you're going to maneuver in the earth realm, right?
Mm,
So that's what I did. I began to plan. I looked at my credit. I looked to see what I had to do. I had the money already set aside for closing and down payment and all of that. It was just, okay, what else, other steps I need to do? So I planned. And one day, I just did a whole, little vision board party in the last quarter of the year. I never do them in January like other people. I always plan quarters by quarters. And one girl was like, this is so good. I never saw anybody do this before. I was like, yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years. How can you not plan your life in quarters? How can you not plan your life in different sections and target every section? So I had begun to start creating the document to get it printed, to get my planner printed. So
mm,
that started it. And I believe, as for individuals, I don't believe we see everything in the fullness of what it can be. It's like,
mhm,
okay, this is the seed of potential, but if you take it and you water it and you take care of it and you nurture it, you're going to begin to see it grow, but you never see the full manifestation of it. So I began to work it. And all I had was a planner. I didn't know. I just know I wanted to help people. I wanted to help them become a better version of themselves through planning. Through planning their life and looking at your personal life, looking at your finances, looking at your spiritual life, planning for your business or your career, planning for, your family, whatever, all of these
mm,
areas, like for you to write a vision for it. And I knew that was, helpful. I knew that was a vital tool that a lot of people, they put by the wayside, right? Because like I said
mhm,
earlier, folks depend on prayer and they don't put action behind it. They think God is a genie. He's just going to come and drop something in your lap. But he created us in the image of him, meaning that all the creative power that's in God is inside of us. So I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm a talker, as you can see. I'm a talker. I was telling someone the other day, I was saying, I don't need an opportunity. Baby, I'm going to create one. Because the creative power that's in God is in me. And I have the power to create opportunities for myself. Yes, God, I want you to give me an opportunity where someone is going to reveal trade secrets to me, where someone is going to give me resources that I don't have access to. I want that. That's the type of door I want. But I don't want, oh, God, open a door for me to get money. No, I have the power within me to create wealth. You understand? So it's just, if we could tap into that, if we could tap into our creativeness, if we can tap into what we've been created to create. Amen. So, but yeah, so that's how the journey started. It started from me coming back home pregnant and just seeking God and seeking his face and seeking what he had for me. And it went from a planner to a book to a journal and to workshops to teaching people different topics quarterly to retreats and things like that. And God has been able to replace my income as a teacher with my business, you know, and like you were saying, people thrive during the pandemic. I was one of those people that I thrived during the pandemic. Even now during the pandemic, I don't want for anything. And every week I'm like, okay, God, let me see if you can increase my weekly goal, because I make financial goals every week. So I'm like, okay, God, can you let me see if you can increase this financial goal? Can you increase it? And you know, I keep going up. You know, I'm going to try you in this. You said if I bring my tithes and my offering to the storehouse, you said I could test you in this. Well, I'm going to test you. I've been bringing mine. Can you increase this weekly goal? So, but it wasn't always on the up and up with me. Before I even moved to New York, I think I moved there in 2016 and 2014. I had lost I had like a Job experience. Within a period of 6 months, I had lost my dad. I was a first-year teacher. I lost my job, not because I was inadequate, because I was the youngest there. And, you know, the older teachers had seniority, and the enrollment rate of the school went down. So they're going to get rid of the new girl. They kept me on as a substitute, but that wasn't enough money. So I went from losing my dad to losing my job to being homeless. And I was homeless for, I want to say 3 or 4 months. I was sleeping in my car. I was really angry at God because I didn't understand how I ended up in that position. Like, you know, and at that time, you know, I practiced, and I still practice, you know, keeping myself. And I'm like, dang. Why is this happening to me? I ain't giving it up. You know, I could easily go back to my ex. At that time, I had just left my ex that I was with for 10 years. And because God told me he wasn't my husband. So I was like, man, I could easily go back to him, be in his bed. I could have a place that, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, God, what's going on? So I had that experience, and it left me broken. It left me feeling rejected by God. But yeah, man, but what got me out of that was hope. Because I always hope for something better, right? Even growing up in the projects, me and my brother it used to be this green tank on the side of our house. And we used to go out and sit on the green tank, and we used to smoke. And we used to watch the cars go by. And because the projects that we lived in was like right by a main highway. And we would just sit there and we would just dream. And we would always say, man, it get greater later. It get greater later. Man, I don't know what it is, but this ain't our life. This ain't what we supposed to be doing. It get greater later. Like, we were born and raised there. We didn't leave the projects until we were in our 20s. Like, I'm like, dang, did my mama even try to get us up out of here? But yeah, man, and we kept that mindset that it just gets greater later. I just feel like my life is supposed to be something more than this, that I'm supposed to have more, that I'm supposed to impact more, that I'm supposed to influence someone. Like we just felt that way. And let me tell you, like keeping that hope will cause you to break the back of poverty. Keeping that hope will cause you to emerge from the ashes. Keeping that hope will cause you to persevere. You understand? Just
That's
keeping the
powerful.
hope that, man, it's going to get greater later. My brother right now, like we grew up in the project, so he was a dope boy. He was all of that. He went to jail. He went, but even for not even for drugs, just because the cops was like any, meeny, miny, mo, and whoever they landed on happened to be him, so they took him to jail. Stuff like that. We grew up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This man is, he went and he became an electrician, right? This man made more money as an electrician than I made as a teacher, and I went to school for this. He would come and tell me, oh, how much he made this week. I'm like, well, dang, that's what I made in 2 weeks. But, him keeping that in his mind, I know we're talking about me and my business, but I don't know why I'm going over in this lane about my brother, but him keeping that in his mind that it gets greater later. You know what I'm saying? From a dope boy to making, something legally, more than what his sister made with the degree. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying?
That's
Like, it's
powerful.
crazy. But yeah, that was my many breakthrough moments that led me up to the point that I am. And I think the main thing that I kept with me through the entire time was hope and
Mm-hmm.
persevering, man. And people, they want to take leaps and bounds, man. Let me tell you, take them little steps.
Mm.
Take them little tiny steps. They add up. One day I'm gonna tell you this story, and then I'm gonna pause so you can say whatever you gotta say. One day I was heading to service, and I lived in South Florida, and the church that I attended was in Hollandale. So I would drive an hour and something to go to church, and me and my friend, we were driving, and it had started pouring. You know how Florida is; it'll start pouring down rain, and
Listen.
especially during hurricane season, and it was clear skies, but we were driving on 95, and we got into this area where it was pouring down raining. I mean, it was raining heavy, hard. And people, some cars kept their speed, and they kept their speed, and they kept going through that rain. Some cars pulled over to the side. But I was driving, so I put on my hazard lights. I pushed my little self up against the wheel, and I reduced my speed, but I kept going. And later on, I looked back on that, and I connected that to perseverance. Like a lot of people, they want to sprint through the tough times. They want to take leaps and bounds, and you risk wrecking out. That car could have wrecked out. I mean, this is a tropical storm.
Mm.
You go risk wrecking out. You're keeping your same speed at 60, 70 miles an hour. And you're not proceeding with caution when the time that you're in is telling you to proceed with caution. Slow down.
Mm.
You don't have to achieve that fast. You get what I'm saying?
I
It's not
understand.
life and death. You can slow down a little bit. You know, and then the people that just pulled over to the side, they gave up, even though, this weather was coming, it was harsh weather. They just pulled over to the side. So they delayed reaching their destination.
Mm.
They said, you know what? I don't even want to go through this. We just gonna go ahead and pull over to the side. We ain't even finna take no type of forward motion action. I'm just finna throw in the towel for a little bit until everything feel right within me, and then I'm gonna move forward. But you can't. Everything ain't always gonna be on the up and up with your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's folks like me. They put on their hazard lights, they reduce their speed, and they adjust themselves to the atmosphere. They adjust themselves to the condition. They adjust themselves to whatever situation that they're going through in the moment, because they're still staying in forward motion. They're persevering. They're moving forward.
Mm.
Baby steps, little itsy bitsy steps. Listen, that's better than pulling over to the side, and that's better than moving forward in full speed and risking wrecking and never reaching your destination.
That's so powerful. That's a powerful, powerful story. I really appreciate you for just sharing each, step within your life and those obstacles and even that story as well. I know there's going to be some young lady, some young man, some person that's going to hear that story and receive that wisdom and that information. One more time, can you please give them your social media as well so they can connect with you?
So my
Mm,
Instagram is Planning a Better You. My Facebook is Planning a Better You, or you could just type in my name, Khadija Romney. And my website is planningabetteryou.com. Go on my website. It's tons of tools and resources on there for you to, just develop yourself as an individual to kind of like catapult you to the place that you really want to be, right? And this is uh, it's not like a spiritual content. These are, anybody can take these tools that's in my books and use them, right? God is in me, so I exude him. I bring him to the table. So you hear me referencing, God and things like that, and prayer and things like that. But my material, it has no religion attached to it. It has no, but you can see it in there because
mm,
it exudes out of me. Do you understand? If you were of the world, you would never know I was talking about God. But if you were of the spirit, you would be like, okay, she in the vein. Do you
mm.
understand? So anybody can take the tools that's on my website, can take the material that I have and can use it. Even the workshops that I do for different groups, different schools, different businesses, whatever. If you feel like you need to develop, you want to increase the intellect, the capacity, not intellect. You want to increase the capacity of the people that are under you, or that are that you're leading. Get at me.
That's powerful as well. And another question before we go, it's a two-part question. So the first question was, what was that
Mm-hmm.
breakthrough experience that got you to where you are now? The second part of this question here, as I gave the illustration about the chains, and somebody might
Mm-hmm.
be one idea away from that next breakthrough in their life. So, what
Mm-hmm.
particular challenge, and I'm asking you this question because there's several entrepreneurs that I'm connected to, people that may already been through that particular experience as you push and strive to the next level. So, what is that challenge right now that you're going through to get to your next breakthrough?
Right now, my current challenge is focus.
Mm,
My current challenge, right? I am a very focused person, but for the last, I want to say 30 days, like I've been off my game.
mhm,
Like everything been like I've been drawn to everything. Like my focus, it ain't been on 100 like it usually is. And it usually happens when I have to create something and produce something that's going to change lives. So right now I'm creating a workbook for the masses, and it's very, very life changing. And I cannot focus. So usually, like for me right now, that thing that if it was to break, it will be a game changer for me if I could
mm.
regain my focus.
That is powerful. That is powerful. And I know there's several entrepreneurs out there as well. And, people that would love to just pour back into you that encouragement just to keep you on track to focus. Because for me, it's about really surrounding myself with that positive energy. Because when I look around and this person's making a meal, this person 10,000 a month, this person, is pushing for their dreams and feeding
Mhm.
the homeless, like it just encouraged me to keep moving as well. So just continue to keep doing
Yeah.
what you're doing because God, like you said, he's going to reveal himself in his time, as you continue to travel on that journey. So it was a blessed honor, having you here at the Breakthrough Conference show. Once again, this
Mhm.
video will be recorded. To all my fans and to the people that are watching, I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to spend a little bit more time with Khadija as well, just to speak with her, but I just want to say thank you for tuning in and watching the Breakthrough Conference show. And once again, can you give us your Instagram and your Facebook and your website one more time?
So my Instagram is Planning a Better You. My Facebook is Planning a Better You. My in Facebook, also you can reach me on Khadija Romney, and my website is planningabetteryou.com.
All right. Thank you so much for being on the show today. Stick
Welcome.
with me. Thank you so much for the fans just watching and people tuning in. If you want to get on the Breakthrough Conference, visit www.thebreakthroughconference.com. Once again, that's www.thebreakthroughconference.com. Thank you so much for watching.